Good morning and welcome back to the Daily Bible Chapter. It is April the 5th of 2022, and today we are reading Deuteronomy chapter 34. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is our last chapter in Deuteronomy. And Deuteronomy 34 is talking about Moses dies on Mount Nebo. It's a fairly short chapter, so let's get into it. Then Moses went up from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, which is across from Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead, as far as Dan, all Naphtali, all the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah, as far as the western sea, the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, as far as Zoar. Then the Lord said to him, This is the land of which I swore to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to your descendants. I have caused you to see it with your eyes, but you shall not cross over there. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor, but no one knows his grave to this day. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyes were not dim, nor his natural vigor diminished. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses ended. Now Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands on him. So the children of Israel heeded him, and did as the Lord had commanded Moses. But since then there has not arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, in all the signs and wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt, before Pharaoh, before all his servants, and in all his land, and by all that mighty power and all the great terror which Moses performed in the sight of all Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 34. And I read that, and I think to myself, in verse 7 it says, Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyes were not dim, nor his natural vigor diminished. And most of the time, especially if somebody's 120 years old here on earth today, generally their eyes are very, very dim, and their natural vigor is quite diminished. But when I read that, I think, man, he must have, 120 years on earth, and, he is still full of life. And how amazing that must have been. And I still say, and I've said this before, where I feel like I wonder what was going through his head when he was, going through his mind when he was sitting up there on, up on the top of the mountain, looking over on the entire promised land, and knowing that he wasn't going to get to enter the promised land, but he still got to see the promised land, from a distance. And, it also hit me too that, I'm trying to try to find the verse real quick for you, but hang on, give me 1 second. Anyway, I can't find the verse quickly, but it basically was, saying, this is the land that I promised. Here it is, verse 4. It says, Then the Lord said to him, This is the land of which I swore to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to your descendants. And I've caused you to see it with your eyes, but you shall not cross over there. And, I think, like, going back to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, like, they were all told that they would, that there was going to be this promised land, and none of them got to see it either. And I wonder, to a certain degree, like, are we being told things that, will come about that we're not going to get to see, but that maybe our descendants would get to see? And I think, in some ways, yes, because we, our descendants may get to see the 1,000-year reign, or hopefully, we'll see the rapture, hopefully soon, the way things are going. But anyway, like, we know that there are new promises made in the Bible that will that are still to come. So, in essence, yes, but I don't know. And it also called out something I thought was interesting too. Is it called out that verse 10, but since then there has not arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. And so that was interesting to me. Like, clearly there was this special relationship between the Lord and Moses, and we haven't seen that since. So I don't know. Moses was a very special man, and had a very special purpose in everything that transpired. And anyway, there's a lot of thoughts on this one small short chapter. It's only 12 verses. But anyway, hope you enjoyed today's chapter, and I hope you will join me tomorrow for, Joshua. We're going to start Joshua tomorrow. So anyway, have a great day.